Lovelies, and welcome back to another video. I'm so happy that you're here, that you're joining me today for this whole Get Ready With Me Q&A. I'm really excited about it. It's my first time doing one in a while, so bear with me. I am getting ready to go to a farmer's market in downtown Hagerstown. I promise I will not forget to speak loudly, because sometimes I do, because it just kind of happens, y'all. I'm so sorry. If you didn't know, my name is Leah Gabrielle. I am 22 years old. I am a writer, an artist, and a content creator, and I am just running after my dreams the way that the Lord told me to. I'm doing all of this for the glory of God. There's no one else that I could do it for. Yeah, let's get into these questions. So I'm gonna be using this as like my primer before my primer to make sure that, you know, my skin's moisturized. And then I've been using this coconut skin soothe rejuvenating primer. I know you probably might not be able to see it, but the first thing that I want to say, I know I kind of did a little intro on my last video of just like who I am, what I'm doing, and how I'm trying to, you know, make my mark on the world and all of that good stuff. And I feel like I just want to make it clear that like I am doing this because of God. Like, not even that this is what he told me to do after I graduated college, but like I have felt like I've been told to do this for a while. I think like especially at the beginning of it, I was kind of more so trying to do it for relatability instead of doing it as unto the Lord, which, you know, I feel like is the biggest reason why I kind of had to take a step back, because it was like, I'm not doing this for the right reasons. But now that I am, you know, getting back into content creation, getting back into, you know, kind of being an influence, I'm like also realizing the certain things I don't want to do. And especially with how most influencers are today, like I feel like there's just this I don't even know what to call it. It's not even like vulnerability, it's truly just like you want to appear, I don't even know the word, that almost like palatable but transparent. I don't know if there's a word. It's like kind of combining those two, but I feel like everyone has a hankering to be seen, but they also want to be seen in the most raw way. So it's like everything that they do is shown. Like, it's like people will be in the comments like, why didn't you show the process between you cutting the onion and the onion being minced? And it's like, I don't know. What did you think I used? Like, you think I just broke it up with my fingers? Like, did you need to see me using it? Like, kind of like that proof and palatability of just understanding someone or something. And I've just been like really convicted about that. Like I want to be aesthetically pleasing and all those things, but do I want to be aesthetically pleasing to the point that I'm like half naked in every video, or I'm always in a robe in every video? Like, is that something that draws people in, or is that something that holds back the following, that the audience that I really want to reach, if that makes sense? So I feel like, especially over these next couple of weeks, I want to be a lot more intentional about figuring out where my medium is at, because I feel like I've kind of been, oh, let me just show off, and then, oh, let me like be more conservative. And I'm like, I don't want to show off, but I also don't want to be so conservative, because I want you to know I'm being vulnerable, but I also want you to know that you do not need to know every single little detail of my life, because that's just not necessary. I don't know why I felt the need to say that, but I kind of felt a little bit of conviction of that before I started this video. Okay, Lord, I hear you. I hear you. But yeah, somebody who is doing content, like I just wanted to make that clear. So my first question was, is there a huge expectation to what you're gonna do now that you're not in college? This is such a good question. When I first saw it, I was like, oof, I have to answer that. Oof. I feel like yes. I think that there's such a huge expectation for me to have already found work, to have a good job, to be in stability, to be in like, especially because I feel like a lot of times in Black communities, or at least in my family, like whenever you're basically one of the first, like, I am the first child, the first person in my immediate family, like my mom, my dad, my brother, and me, to get their college degree. So that in and of itself is a lot of pressure, but I'm also like one of the first grandchildren to get their college degree. Of those 6, half of us have degrees. All 3 of us are Black women. So I feel like there is this expectation that, you know, when you get your degree, your life is put together. Like, you're good. There's nothing that you need to be worried about. You're immediately going to get a job out of college. You're going to be focused on, you know, all of the building and generational wealth and doing all of these different things, when that is just so unrealistic, especially like personally for me. Even when I was going into college, and I think that I was the only one to really experience this out of the people in my family that have gone to college, I went for my Bachelor of Arts. Like, I have a degree in professional creative writing with a concentration in creative writing and dance. People were just like, okay, well, now that you did it, like, good for you, awesome, put in the hard work, right? What are you gonna do now? And it's like, well, first of all, I don't think one of the things that people think about enough, and I will be quite honest, it makes me mad, because it's like you say that it is an achievement to graduate college, but you don't recognize the work and just like isolation that happens in college. Like, you are literally in a place where you get meals that you paid for in advance, where you are able to stay rent-free, but not really rent-free, but you know what I'm saying, in a residence hall, and you're constantly just on that campus or in that vicinity of the campus. So it's like, you expect me to fully just acclimate to life after college immediately by getting a job. And I'm not saying that there aren't people that do that, because there absolutely are. Props to y'all who got a job right out of college. That's amazing. Like, I love that for you. I had to recover, like, quite literally. And I don't think my family understands that. And that's why I'm not talking to the majority of them right now. But like, I don't think that people really get what happens when you're in that college. But especially, I am sorry, if you went to college between the 70s and the 90s, college is not at all the way that you had it whenever it was in that time period, okay? It's completely different. So please don't come talking to me acting like you know what my college experience was like, because you don't. Especially that I was a kid that started college before the pandemic and graduated after the pandemic. Not even after, like, we're still low-key in a pandemic. We're just, you know, things are happening. We don't really care anymore. But I was in school before we went online. I was in school when we went online, and I was in school after we went back in person. Did you have to go through that experience? Didn't think so. So this idea that I'm supposed to have it all together, that I'm supposed to know what I need to do, that I'm supposed to just I don't even know. Like, the expectation is really irritating. Like, when I tell you that for the majority of the summer, I was in my mother's lap, like, I don't have a job. I don't know why I don't have a job. I don't understand. Everyone keeps asking me, are you going to start working? And I'm applying for jobs and no one wants to take me. That is the literal experience of most college. Like, almost all of my friends who didn't have a job before graduating college are either working retail jobs that they don't want to be in and still applying for other jobs, or are just not working because nobody wants to hire. Surprising, right? Make it make sense. Make it make sense, genuinely. One of the things that I'm really grateful for is my mom. She is such a blessing. She loves me unconditionally, and I don't know what I would do without her, genuinely. I think I would be sad and depressed without my mother, to be quite honest. And Jesus, because I'm in my podcast area, okay? So I've just been watching a lot of podcasts, but a lot of the podcasts that I've been watching, like one specifically that stuck out to me, because I've been following Tim Ross. Tim Ross is awesome. He's just so wise, and all the people he brings on are just such blessings. And one of the things that he had said in a podcast, he was like, just because you're being rejected doesn't mean it's not protection. Like, the rejection of you in this job or whatever place could be God's protection, is God's protection at most times. And I, like, when I tell you that broke me all, I was like, oh, God, you protected me, right? And especially given like what I was saying, this expectation of like everyone's asking me, when are you gonna get a job? Are you gonna get a job soon? What's gonna happen with your da 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 da? Are you gonna get a job? And I'm just like, I'm trying. I feel like that's the hardest part that I've had to cope with, especially right now in these last couple of weeks. It's just like, I'm trying. I am genuinely trying to get a job. I am genuinely trying to find employment. Y'all, I got rejected from Marshalls. Do not tell me that I'm not trying to get my stuff together. Do not tell me that I'm not like working hard enough to fill out. Like, I've been applying to literally everywhere, to jobs that are in my bachelor field, to jobs that are out of it, to retail jobs, and I'm gonna be the first person to say, I do not want to work at Amazon. I just don't. And I'm not gonna, like, that is my lowest of low. I'm not gonna go to Amazon, but I'm almost there. I'm almost at the point where, like, Lord, I might just need to go fill out the application to Amazon, because I don't think they'll deny me. And like, I remember praying about that and God just being like, I'm not letting you get a job right now because I need you to be in a growing and learning. And if you get busy, you will no longer want to. Because that really has been my biggest conviction, and what I've been working on the most in this time is just because that's exactly how I was in college. Like, I was just busy. I was running around. I was everywhere, nowhere. And everyone was always like, Leo, why don't you come out with us? Leo, why don't you do this? Leo, why don't you do that anymore? And it's like, because I have an organization to run. I have a job. I have things that I'm working on. I have things to do. And I think whenever I'm in a place where I'm just like, I'm busy, I have things I need to do, I neglect relationships. That's not good. And I think, I've been talking about a lot with my therapist, is like, I want to be busy again, but I'm also starting to see like how much I get off track and how much I don't know how to just like move effectively throughout the time that I have in my day, thinking about myself when I'm just thinking about a to-do list. Like, I'm such a to-do list girly. Like, if you have ever met someone that has like an app for all their to-do stuff and a planner for all their to-do stuff, that was me in college. Like, I wrote everything down. I put everything in my phone. I was like, I'm not gonna forget nothing. I'm gonna remember every single little thing I gotta do because I know I got a lot to do. And I was always busy. When I walked into this season, like after graduating college, like I could just feel how much God was like, you need to rest. Because you are so caught up in being busy and running around and doing all of these things that you are not even sitting down to focus on me for long enough, because you want to get to the next thing. You want to get things done. That's the long response. But there's so much expectation. Bro, I literally just spent 4 years in a bubble where I only had deadlines and only had I only had to worry about a lot of the stuff that was happening on campus. Kind of blow up on campus. Like, I'm sure that right now campuses across the globe are experiencing some kind of like inner bubble blow up because of what's happening in Palestine and what's happening in Gaza and what's happening in Israel. Like, I know that it was the same thing whenever Russia went after Ukraine, whenever I was in school. Like, that was my junior year of college. And that was like a whole thing. I literally had an entire class sit down and watch President Biden's address. Dude. So there's just so much that happens in that bubble that you don't even realize that you need to recover from. I don't think that people really understand that in their expectation of you should have your life together, you should have a job right after you graduate college because you're set up. They don't see what happened in those 4 years that really allowed for you to not just be academically competent, but also be isolated in a way that can be damaging to your person, especially going out into adulthood. So the next question I have is, how is it escaping the depression that is a PWI? The person that asked this question also went to my PWI, so she knows. If you're watching this, I care, right? Anyways, it's been rough. It's It's definitely been a recovery period, like I will say that. And I think that also goes into what I'm saying about like people do not understand what happened in those 4 years and how much you kind of need to recover after that. They don't get it. Especially when you're on a PWI, like I've seen so many students who went from like a PWI to HBCU and they're like, well, I really needed to prepare myself for the adjustment and recovery period that had to happen over those, because it's so much just like thrown at you in such a short amount of time. Because when you're really thinking about it, 4 years is not a long amount of time. But when I tell you it felt like I was in college for a decade, that's not good. That like it should never feel like that, but it felt so long and it's so dragged out because you're, especially at my PWI, it was really small. You're really, I mean, at any college really, but like even like Towson University, you probably would see different people within your department all the time. When I was in my department, I saw the same 15 people every daggone day. It was constant, yo. It was always just like, and that's it also brought all of the drama. All the drama was always the same. It was always revolving around the same professors or the same people or whatever. Like it was always something. As much as like I felt like I should just be fine after this, I was not fine. I was not fine at all. And even my mom, upon coming home, was like, the only reason why I'm not pressing on you to get a job is because I know how hard it was for you to go through this season and how rough it was for you. And like she definitely still like makes fun of me because there were times where I would just be like crying. Like I won't even say like I was a crybaby in college because I really didn't want to be there. I really did not want to be there at all. She had to talk me out of a lot of things, like especially right before we went back after COVID. I was like, Mom, I want to drop out. And she was like, you have 2 years left. Come on now. And I was like, my first couple of weeks into my junior year, I was like, Mom, I still want to drop out. Like, I want to leave. Like, get me out of here. Let me leave. I don't want to be here anymore. And she was like, you got literally less than a year left, please. We just spent like over $20,000 just on these last 3 years alone, like please. And she was like, I already paid the money for this year. And I was like, all right, you right. I'm sorry. I hear you. But I still want to drop out though. Like let that be clear. I want to drop out. I do not want to be here no more. I want to also preface this with like, I know people will say, oh, you guys always just want something to complain about, or you always want to just say whatever bad thing when you're not really experiencing everything. You cannot speak for my experience. Your experience isn't mine, and just because you want to compare my experience to others doesn't mean that they're actually comparable. You have your own opinion, and so do I. I value my opinion, and I value yours. I understand that not everyone has the same experience, and I understand that a lot of people will say that kids that went to PWIs just want to complain about a bunch of stuff that happens on most campuses. No. College kids want to complain about stuff that happens on most campuses because most of the stuff that goes down on campuses are very centralized to what happens on that campus. And you acting like you understand the perspective outside of that campus doesn't mean that you actually see what's going on. Just to make that clear. Do you ever think that maybe because that's what all college kids say, that it's true? That college campuses are literally internal bubbles that damage children? Children. Because let's put an emphasis on that. We decided on $70,000 loans at 18 years old. At 17 years old, for me. That's all I gotta say, all right? It's a recovery process because not only are you recovering from the academic expectations, you're recovering from the environment, right? And the things that happened in that environment, the things that went down that can both happen in regular life, but it can also be like also centralized to spaces. Like if I focus on this for too long, then I'm just gonna get upset and I'm gonna get sad, and I don't want to be upset and I don't want to be sad. I just want to get out of here. Like I want to leave. But I definitely will say, like right now, with complete confidence, I am doing a lot better than what I was at the beginning of the summer, a lot better than I was when I was on that campus. I think it's even more of a revelation to see how toxic that environment really was based on how your responses are to certain things or people after you leave that environment. Like environment has a big impact. And I think like one of the things that I've had to repeat to myself over these last couple of months is like, God didn't want me to stay in that environment for too long because he knew that adjusting after that environment was going to be something that took it out of me. It didn't raise my confidence. It definitely taught me a lot. Don't get me wrong. It was necessary lessons that I needed to learn that I don't think I would have learned at just any school. But it was a lot. It hurt. So many things hurt. So many things were hard. I feel like a lot of people have been wanting me to say like, oh, it was easy. College is cool. Now I'm working a job. That's not my reality. I'm still recovering from what happened at my school. Like, I literally sat through and watched a bunch of racism happen in my classes and on campus week after week. And people just want to sit here and tell me, well, that's just the world. Okay, so when you're sitting down and having a conversation next to a racist person that's telling you to get over it, then come and talk to me. And you have to see that person every single week. Then come and talk to me. Because that was a lot. And it was annoying. It was really annoying. Especially given that my school was liberal. I am glad to be free of my PWI. It will always be my experience. I'm grateful for the things that I learned in that experience. But it has been a recovery process. And I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it and act like it didn't really happen. Because it did. I'm not going to water down my experience just because people tell me that, it's not real. Or that it's something that everyone goes through, or it's not a centralized problem to PWI. Okay. Go to a PWI and then let me know. For real. Go to a PWI, let me know. I would love to hear about your experience, and I would love to hear about what you go through. I think that that's how it should be. I would love to hear about an HBCU kid's experience. I would love to hear about a 115,000 person school person experience. Like, because y'all acting like these experiences can be defined by what you think when it's literally someone's experience. Gets on my nerves. I'm gonna be honest. Y'all get on my nerves. It irritates me. Because why do you act like you know everything? Why do you act like you can define somebody's experience for them? Hint, somebody, not you, experience. So keep it to yourself. Yeah. Just keep it to yourself. Not everybody needs to hear your mouth. I stand on that. Any dance / choreography opportunities coming for you soon? Okay. Yes, and yes, but I have been taking a little bit of a break just because of some things that happened towards the end of my spring semester of my senior year. I kind of got away from my passion for dance, which is worship. Like, dance is my form of worship, and that's something that I kind of loosed grip on while I was in college, just because you have requirements, you have classes, you kind of just have to do what you have to do in order to graduate, right? And there was just a lot that I ended up getting into that I've just had to think about and evaluate, in a sense. Just like think and meditate and ponder on what dance has always been to me, and whether or not I'm going to step back into that as a form of worship. And I feel like that is why I've had such a big conviction about dancing right now, because I really want to make sure that I'm not going back into dance because it's like, oh, I just miss dancing. Like, no, I dance for a purpose. I dance for a reason. I do want to really become more selective about that now that I'm no longer in a college credit-based space where I just kind of have to do stuff for a grade. I feel like I made a big deal about being palatable rather than being authentic to myself and true to myself. So I really have had to take a step back, reorient, really figure out, okay, let me think about how I want to do this, why I want to do this, and who I'm doing this for. Because if I'm doing it for me, it will fail. Step number one isn't about me. Step number one is glorifying God. And that's always what it's been about. The reason why I went to college is because I wanted to glorify God. The reason why I chose to go to the college I did was to glorify God. Am I trying to be a light, or am I trying to blend in with the darkness and sometimes be a light? Right? I really had to like take a step back and think about those things and think about how I wanted to go through with the process of being an artist, and most importantly, being an artist who is a believer in the Lord, and what that really looks like. You know, I will definitely be posting about those things, but for the most part, I am kind of just reorienting a little bit, trying to figure out where I need to go, what I need to do, and how I need to do it in obedience to the Lord. Yeah, I appreciate that question though. Okay, so this is my last question, but I am wondering, what were some of your best memories of your college days? Like, and I know that I literally just said like I had a lot of rough moments. This is not like I said, I'm grateful for the experience. I'm grateful for what happened. I'm grateful for what God brought me through, and you know, all of the things that took place. But I had some good times. It was fun. You know, I definitely have some really good friendships from college that I'm so grateful for. And I'm not gonna act like that's not true. But my best memories, yeah, I'm gonna kind of divide it up. So between like dance and friends, or most of my favorite dance memories were from like when we did showcases. Yeah, I loved doing showcases. I do miss that actually. I miss just performing in general, and being backstage and the flowers. And like, if you guys check out my poetry and creative works playlist on here, you can find my choreo poem, a choreo poem for the angry Black woman's second time being black while hiding why I'm angry. That was probably one of the most surreal memories of my college experience, because it was just like, it was crazy. I got my piece chosen. It was the first all Black piece to ever touch the stage at my school. It was the first all Black female piece. It was surreal to be chosen, to be in that position, to be told like how, like, I had girls that did not like me, like were rude and mean to me, come up to me after that performance and be like, Leah, like, your piece has evolved so much. Like, I can't believe how amazing it is right now. And I was like, you're complimenting me? It was like a moment. And I had like professors coming up to me. I had parents coming up to me. Yo, it was just surreal. And especially because for most of my life, I've never really been recognized for my dance or for my voice, because like I said, I'm a soft-spoken girly. I don't be like a lot of the time. So when I am, like, I feel like it's really shocking to people. Like, they don't expect this power to exude from me, and it's in a way that is unnatural, and it like kind of unnatural to the person that they're normally seeing, or unnatural to the person that they think that they're seeing. It was such an experience. Like, that was probably from like March to like April, end of April. Those 2 months were probably like some of the best months. Like, I was crazy busy. Like, it was insane. I was all over campus. I was running everywhere, but it was so amazing to just be creating something that people wanted to be a part of, that dancers wanted to be a part of, and that dancers were recognizing as like, this is beautiful. Like, this is truly something that can go far. One of the main reasons why I really want to take my time in going back into dance specifically and performing, because of everything that happened. Like, I feel like I could have the chance of getting caught up in something when in reality I still want to, like, that entire choreo poem was about authenticity and identity and Blackness and understanding truth. And I want to be in that foundation for all of my work going forward, especially in my writing, because I really Like, it may not seem like it, but I really want to go farther in my writing. Like, there's so much that I want to write and so much that I want to say and so much that I have been saying that I just don't share. And having my choreo poem be up on a stage was probably the biggest moment for me to just share and say it and speak truth. And it's crazy. It's just crazy. In terms of like just friends, I had 3 roommates. They were the best girls I ever knew. I still know them. I still talk to them like all the time. But I love them. They are a part of the reason why my choreo poem even happened. They're part of the reason why I'm the person that I am. They taught me so much. They taught me a lot about myself, and I learned so much about them. I had to learn some hard lessons with those girls, and like, we just have such an intimate relationship and an intimate friendship that I'm so grateful for, because I know that a lot of people don't get the opportunity to have those kinds of friendships. Being in a friendship with someone and having moments where it's like, oh, this could be a breaking point, and it just isn't, and you just end up growing and you keep growing, and then you go through other hard moments and you're like, I love you, you're irritating the heck out of me right now, and I'm kind of not speaking to you for a second, but I love you. And like, there were so many times where we would be upset with each other, or something would happen where we'd just be like, I don't want to talk to them, and we would have to end up like sitting down. And like, we had an apartment our junior and senior year, and there was like, our living room was like, what do they call it? I don't even know the word for it, but it was like that central place where everything just went down. So whether or not we were bawling our eyes out, or we were ranting about professors, or if we were just upset by what our college was saying and doing, like, that was like, those living rooms were the spaces that I was just like, I'm so grateful that I have people like this, that I have people that don't just want to listen to me, but feel like I can hear them, that I can be authentic with and true with, and, you know, really see those sides of myself come out. Like, I really don't think that I saw the authenticity and vulnerability and true version of Leah Gabrielle until my junior year, when I was living with those girls and I was sitting on our living room floor, and I was just like, I can no longer hide myself from you. You've known me for such a long, like, and I met these girls my freshman year. Like I've been listen, like, that's how you know that this is some serious, like, we made it through freshman year to being in person, to going online. We traveled across state lines to see each other, and we're still friends even though we live in different places. Like, I'm grateful for them. I'm so grateful for who they are. I'm grateful for how much they are willing to let me love them, and how much they love me. Like, I have to like section it out, because I don't really have just like this is my number 1, my number 2, like, those are like my 2 best memories of times, like, just like times when I was with my roommates and we were just doing everything, and then times when I was performing. Like, those were just some of the most beautiful times, I feel like, when I was in college. Those are the like 2 most beautiful time periods of memory that I have, where it was just like, I feel like I'm being myself, I feel like I'm being seen, I feel like I'm experiencing exactly what I've been longing to since I was a little girl in middle school. Like, this is just a dream come true, literally, like, performing my own piece and doing all of it, and having friends that I could just be myself with, and they would just love me through all my transitions. Like, that what has been I'm gonna stop because I literally just did my makeup. I'm grateful for my college, because most of those questions were geared towards college. This is kind of like a college Q&A, after college Q&A. But so much of what I went through, what I experienced, what I learned, what I've had to recover from, are all things that I'm grateful for, because I wouldn't be the person that I am sitting in front of you talking to you in this video right now. Like, I just wouldn't. The thing that they don't talk about in college is just like, you're just going. Like, especially once you start off that freshman year, you're running. Like, it is a 4-year race. Once you graduate, it's like when I graduated, I felt like time just stood still for a second. Like, I was just like, it stopped. I don't I don't need to go to an academic office and talk to my advisor. I don't need to talk to my department head. I don't need to do anything for college, to graduate, to get this degree that I'm holding in my hands. I don't have to do anything. I have nothing else. There's nothing else for me to do. That was such a, like, this isn't happening. Like, I remember my mom, like, asking me, like, how does it feel now that you're a college graduate? And I'm just like, it doesn't feel real. Like, the first 3 weeks of me having my degree, I was like, it doesn't feel real. I don't know. This doesn't feel real. I don't think this is are you sure I don't need to go back in the next 3 months? Like, I'm so grateful. I'm just so grateful for everything that happened, for everything I learned, for everything that went down. I can't imagine what my life would be like without all of that. And it's wild. Also, my lips feel so bare right now because I don't have my lip gloss. I'm just grateful. Yeah. So that is all that I have. Those are all the questions that I'm doing today. I'm so glad that you guys allow me to sit here and talk your ears off about college and life after college. I'm just grateful. I'm just so grateful to be able to have this platform, to be able to feel like I have a voice that can talk about these things. And, you know, either way, you were still willing to listen. And I think that that's something really important to vulnerability and important to intentionality and really figuring out how you want to walk through life, whether you want to be that person that thinks they know everything or whether you want to be that person that's willing to sit down and listen and talk. But yeah, so I'm just gonna pray out. I'm also gonna like show you guys my outfit low-key, kind of, but yeah, I'm just gonna pray this out. So Lord, I just thank you for this time, for allowing these people to want to ask me these questions, for allowing me the platform, for allowing me to be a vessel that, while I may not have cited scripture or done anything directly talking about you, Lord, that I'm still talking about the goodness that you provided for me during my season, that the goodness that you're providing for the person on the other side of the screen, that they're able to see what it is that you do life for, what it is that this journey is for, what it is that we are able to take in as we make all of the steps into our purpose that you have for us, Father God. I just thank you for this season, for this time, for this day, that you are truly allowing for us to be made new and to be made whole in your truth and in your love, Lord. I thank you for the vulnerability that takes place on this channel, for the acceptance that takes place on this channel, Lord. I thank you for the person on the other side of the screen, Lord, that you would just bless them and you would give them abundant favor and you would give them abundant peace, Lord, supernatural peace that just takes over all of the situation that they're going through or whatever they might be walking through right now, Father God. I just thank you for all that you are allowing for them to take in and hear from my words being used as a vessel and as a transport for what it is that you want to be heard, Father. We give you all the praise, Lord. We give you all the glory. In Jesus' name, amen. I love y'all so much. I'm so grateful for y'all. Like, this is really cool. I've missed doing Q&As just a little bit. I love this. This is great. I will see you guys next time. Bye, lovelies. Opinion. I got a little pick.